My name is Muna Abdi, and I'm Somali. I'm from Somalia, and I'm born in Mogadishu, the capital city. I work agency whose name is JVS, and I'm a case specialist, and I just help people like me, refugee like me, and it's that job. It's make me so excited, so happy. I know you're so excited today because your daughter coming. You're so happy, right?
Yes. Nice. Here is my daughter. Here is my daughter. There is Feza.
I know what are the people who was coming here, what they feel, what they know here, what they didn't know, because I was the same. I was in refugee. I teach them how they ride the bus. Then I took them to the grocery. I teach them how they shopping in, and I take them to the school. I enroll them the kids for the school. It's really hard life to be a refugee, but it's gonna teach you at the same time everything. This is our breakfast, and we call it injera. It's our special breakfast. Like every Somali house, they had this food every morning. That's what we eat. I grew up with my mom. I live with my mom. I was in first grade when the war started in Somalia. I never go outside. My mom, she didn't let me to go because for my safety. I remember it was around 9 o'clock in the morning, and we heard like a gunshot. It was a little bit far from us. Then after that, I heard that it's something getting close to us. Then I went outside to see my friend. I couldn't hear anything, and I see like everywhere is blood. I just lost one of my best friend that we grew up together with her, and that was the worst day in my life. That's the time we decided the whole neighborhood we work together. Everybody, like all of us, like we went. Then my mom got sick from malaria, and she went to hospital for 19 days over there. Then they told us like we cannot do anything to her. We don't have any like medicine or service or anything. Then we take her back at home, and I was to stay with her. And after 1 week, she passed away. I left Somalia and went to Kenya. I meet my daughter, father there. We get married. I had a daughter. I get divorced. Then after that, I started with my own life and my daughter. Which one do you want to see?
This one.
I heard that we can get chance to go to the United States if you get proof the paper that you're refugee. So the refugee people who give the paper is United Nations, but the United Nations office was in Nairobi. So it for me is an 8-hour drive bus to go there. You have to be 5 in the morning there on the line, and it's really cold. I have a baby. Sometimes we stay there all day and we didn't meet anybody. Somehow my heart told me that one day I'm gonna get this chance. And I was so happy when they told me that you're going to the United States. I was like, oh my God, now my daughter has a future. She's gonna have a good school, good life. So it was the happiest day for me. So sweet. I came 2015, April 29. That's where we arrived in United States. I live in Northeast, close to the downtown. I love it, the community, the people, the life, it's cool, like I love it really. My daughter is really amazing. Almost every step she's doing, it's making me happy and proud. She's happy to be here, and she studied good right now. She's doing good, and her dream is to be a doctor.
She worked very hard to come here to make my dream come true.
Sometimes it's like she reminds me of my mom. I just remember my mom. I say like, okay, thank you Allah, you give it to me a daughter. And I love in Kansas City. I really love Kansas City, and I want to live the rest of my life here.
We're catching some fish today.
Lead pond right here,
My name is Hank Nguyen. I'm from Vietnam. I grew up in a village called Châu Đốc, which is close to Mekong River. My father was a professor and he supported 9 of us and plus my mom. In 1968, South Vietnam needs some more soldiers. Everybody gotta go. My dad left and I'm still a little boy. And then when the 75 come, everybody from lieutenant up to colonel, they got to register. They took him from south all the way up north, 1,200 kilometers. My dad was in prison about 17 years. 1979, the North Vietnamese forced me to go to Cambodia to be a soldier. My class is 53. I lost 51 of my friends. And 2 of them have leg cut off. At the nighttime, whenever I sleep, I escape. My father had one of his friends, the expert building boat. We go fishing in the morning, act like a fisherman, and we go back and forth to that island. We try to build a boat. Engine we have to bring it apart and put together. In that time, Pacific Ocean, very rough. That's storm time. The boat was just like this, I'm steering. If the wave coming this way, if you go like that, you sunk. You gotta go over it. On the first night, we out of water, we out of food. One man, he's lost his son, so we have to bury him in the ocean. We get to the land, the police show up, Indonesia police. My father gave me the number of his staff, like a serial number, special number. My father told me to wait for American embassy, come over and give me that number, and they will take you. I came to America 1980. My first wife, she got killed by a truck driver when my son was 6 years old. Me and my second wife divorced. And one day I called back to Vietnam to talk to my father. And my father said, okay, go back there, I'll find you a wife. Trip back very, that's the big experience to me because when I've been so long, and he was standing right there and was shot. Me and Sam, we go out, have bubble tea, stuff like that, go to the movie, and we had to get married. 2.5 months later, my father passed away. I came to Kansas City, me and Sam, and my first boy, only we have 2 suitcases. We opened a restaurant in May 2017. The best one, all you want. At that time, I worked full-time and get up from work and go to the restaurant until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning for 2.5 months. This is the mama papa shop. Me and Sam together, we have 3 boys. Huh? Oh, okay. Every Monday, we take half a day off, and me and Sam, we go shopping. And that's the only time me and Sam get together, 1.5 hours. And when we get home, we just sleep. We pass out. Get on fire! I say this is hot.
The tape.
I just want to let the second generation to know, go to school, get your education, be something. That this is your country. I love Kansas City. Kansas City is great.
My name is Ngoma Fataki, and I'm a refugee from Democratic Republic of Congo, and I live in Independence, Missouri. I have 4 sisters, 4 brothers, and I am the oldest. My family fled the Civil War when I was 1, and we lived in 4 different countries, 4 different refugee camps. And finally, we settled in Mozambique, where we lived for 14 years. So my entire childhood, I spent in a refugee camp. My background, it's full of trauma. We had to go hungry. We had to walk miles and miles to go get water. My 2 siblings were affected by cholera. There were times that they got really, really sick to the point that, we just never think that they could come back. One of the memories that I remember was my father getting arrested. I was just 12 years old, but I was old enough to know exactly what was going on. I saw the cops coming to church, and they surrounded the entire church. And my father and other church member, they got arrested. Tears came in my eyes, just like water from the natural spring. It was terrible. And so those things still haunting me to these days. After my father was arrested, someone interviewed him, and the case appeared to be compelling. And so that's how the process started of coming out to the United States. I can't tell you exactly why me or why us. I would say that we are blessed. When I first came to the U.S., I didn't speak English, but after a year and a half, I graduated from high school. Now I go to school at Missouri Western State University, that is in St. Joe. Hey, how are you, man?
Good.
Long time. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just the past March, I was elected as a student body president.
It's going good. That's good.
When I graduate, I want to go to get my master's, and after that, go to a law school where I'm going to study international law. I can make all the change, but the little difference that I will make, that will impact a lot of lives. This soccer ball was made by my father, and it's made by a lot of plastic bags and rope on top, and the children in the refugee camp used to use this of the actual soccer ball. My father is a very strong person. He always have faith, and he always have hope that all the struggles that he's going through, they will one day come to an end. There are a lot of people who come to my father's church. There are people from Congo, from Burundi, people from Rwanda, people from Uganda. There are a lot of different people who come to my father's church. They've gone through a lot of struggles, but they're still standing, and that is called courage.
I was born in 1947, and I was born in Istria, which was part of Italy, but after World War II, it was given to the newly formed communist Yugoslavia. We could no longer speak Italian, we couldn't go to church, and they changed our name from Maticchio to Motica. We lived in the city of Pula, but my grandmother lived just outside in a little town. With Grandma, we could speak Italian. Sometimes she did sneak us to church and so on, so we were freer. We had chickens, we had ducks, we had goats, we had 2 pigs every year, which we would slaughter, make the prosciutto, make the bacon, make the sausages. I was involved in running to pick up the peas when they were ripe, helping Grandma to harvest that potatoes. And you take it in your hand and it's still warm, and I can still feel it now, almost as it had life. The perfect fig, the taste of the perfect fig, the bushes of rosemary that Grandma would send me to sort of harvest. We even played hide and seek as kids in the rosemary bushes. As we were growing up, of course, things became ever more, I would say, difficult. We would get knocks on the door to see where my father was, what was he up to, taken for interrogation, and then finally let loose after a week or 2 in jail. In that area, the terrain is very rocky, and there are deep foibe, they're called. They're like caves, but they just are perpendicular caves. And they would come at night, take the sons and the husbands, and they were tied together usually with barbed wire and thrown in this foibe. And some of them were alive for days in there. And so they made a plan. And the plan was that my mother, my brother, and I would go to visit supposedly a sick aunt in Trieste. And my father couldn't come because they wouldn't allow him, they wouldn't give him a visa. My aunt was perfectly fine. But about 10 days later, my father showed up at the door. He had escaped. He literally escaped the border. They shot at him. The dogs, scent dogs were running after him, and he collapsed right in front of, us kids got up, ran out to see. And we were all together now in Trieste. The visas that we had were limited, and my father had no papers. The only protection that we could get is go to the police and declare that we are refugees and that we are seeking asylum. The camp was called San Saba Riseria. That's all we heard, that it was a rice factory. We didn't know the history of it. Before us, it was a Nazi concentration camp. The quarantine, where I went with my mother, was rather dark. It had a window just like you do in prison with bars, looking on this courtyard. And I remember looking out of those bars, holding on, hoping to see my father and my brother, because I thought I was never going to see them. And we stayed in the camp for 2 years, awaiting an opportunity for a country to accept us. When we got the acceptance to come to the United States, that was in 1958, and Dwight Eisenhower was the president. The Catholic Relief Services got us ready, and then they handed us over to the Catholic Charities here. And in about 2-3 weeks thereafter, they found a job for my father in New Jersey. He was a mechanic. They found a little home for us, and they settled us in. The care that one had at that time for immigrants was very moving, and we certainly felt the responsibility of giving back and becoming part of America as soon as we could. When I think back, I think how important that period of my life was in forming me who I am today as a person. My brother and I didn't know we were not going to go back. I hadn't said goodbye to Grandma, to my friends, to my goats. I had my baby goats. And all of that, I think, left a desire in me for connection. And food was my connector. So cooking, the aromas that I remember for grandmother, even rosemary brought me back to grandmother. And cooking became my way of communicating thereafter. My life has been a very rewarding life. Sometimes I get asked, Lydia, boy, you had a tough beginning. Maybe, in a way, but I think that really set me who I am. I have a beautiful family, 2 children, 5 grandchildren. Restaurants, I have quite a few on and off. 13 cookbooks, my memoir now. My public television series has been running for 20 years, but I never forgot that I am who I am because somebody cared, somebody helped.
I'm Hanadi Al Mansour. I'm from Syria, and I have 5 children, 3 girls, 2 boys. I was 18 when I get married, and his family came to our home and visit us like a friend. When I serving the coffee to everyone, I arrived to him. I'm looking at him and laughing. He looked at me and laughing, and we fell in love. Our life, it was very beautiful life. All my days was love, 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 everything good. When I told my husband that I'm pregnant, he was so happy. When Hadil was 1 year and months old, she was weak and can't move as the other babies in the same age. I took Hadil and the other daughters and went to the hospital. And there they told us Hadil has beta thalassemia, and she must go to the hospital for a blood transfusion monthly. After 3 years with this problem with Hadil, I delivered Muhammad. When I saw his urine red, I told my husband, Muhammad has the same problem. And now we have 2 kids, have beta thalassemia at home, so me and my husband decide no more children. And we moved to Attal. After 1 year we lived there, I pregnant with Ahmad. It was a surprise. After 6 months, I lived the same moment. Beta thalassemia again. 6 months after that, the war started in Syria. We went to the hospital. I don't forget this day at all. My husband was driving his car, and suddenly, two group of people in front of us, were fighting. I told my husband, there is nobody here. No cars, no people, even cats, nothing. It's empty. After that, my husband asked me, you will not go to this hospital. We will do that in the same city. But here we must pay. They don't do that for free. Everything he worked, every money, we must raise it for the blood, just the blood. With all this hardship, we loved each other and we support each other. And always, my husband told me always, I remembered his words in the morning, it will be okay. The last step in our town, they asked me to bring the blood by myself, and it's so dangerous to do that. Maybe they think when they saw you bring the blood with you, maybe you are helping the ISIS. So here, my husband decided to leave Syria. This is the last step in our country. Our trip started in Alexandria. One day I was in the office to have a prescription for my kids. I heard some people, they talking that there are some people, they travel to United States or British or Germany or anywhere in the world. So I take these words. And when I entered the office to the doctor, I said to him, I want to travel. He said, what? I said to him, I have 3 kids with beta thalassemia, and here it's so hard to be healthy. After 3 months, we had a call. They asked us if we want to stay in Egypt, go back Syria, or travel to United States. In Kansas City, we arrived August 30, 2016. The first visit to Children's Mercy. Here I meet the doctor. I said to him, okay, I know everything about beta thalassemia, but I need the last step. He said to me, the last step is bone marrow transplant. A little bit. And the next visit for me, we went there for lab, me and my husband and my kids. The surprise was, Huda is the donor. We were so happy for that, but in the same time, we were sad because Muhammad doesn't match with his sibling. We start our trip with Hadil, and the doctor gave me a date. It was a hard day and a beautiful day in the same time, and everything going good with that. The hardest is coming. Her body started fighting the bone marrow. She can't drink, she can't talk, she can't eat, just breathing coming and up in her body. But after 5 days, you feel like she born again. She is smiling, she is laughing. And after 2 months, she admitted at hospital. We went to home. When the doctor called me that Ahmad is ready to go to bone marrow transplant, he said no. His dad thinking about that. He know Ahmad. He said, I have a deal. If you go to the hospital for bone marrow transplant, I will bring for you little truck. He said, what? Here, Ahmad agreed with us to go to bone marrow transplant. But before he went, he had his truck. Huda now goes to Ben Valley. She wants to be a nurse. And Hadil and Muhammad, now they are senior this year. And they thinking to be a doctor, both of them. And Muhammad will get healthy after we found a match for him and get his bone marrow transplant. My dream for myself to have my own baker. Maybe Hanadi's cookies. Kansas City now my home, and I like it. Just I hope to see Syria again, and I hope no war everywhere, not just in Syria, everywhere.
I needed my for there is a man that have his God, if not himself, then he has not to set a face, he truly still, and not a word was revealed, the record shows, I did the blows, and did it my way.